Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Football Match Day 13 deadline stream. So as you can see on screen, 4 transfers still to make, and we've gotten the team news from the Real Madrid game, Real Madrid versus Bayern game, and we've also got the team news from the Sporting versus Arsenal game. So that will help me make my transfers right now. And obviously we're going to take out Hauge here. We're also going to take out Saka. We're also going to take out Rafinha. And the fourth one, I will literally decide it on stream because if you watched my team selection video, I did make a mistake. I did bring in Rafinha very early and then he got injured, unfortunately. So instead of 5 transfers, I have 4. And one of the players that I brought in Rafinha, I have to take out because he's injured. So we're going to have to also take him out. So let's see. So for the fourth transfer, I could either go with one goalkeeper in Rui Silva and take out, the forward player and bring in both Kane and Mbappe because I really wanted Kane, I really wanted Gyökeres, I really wanted Mbappe, but 2 of my forward players are starting, and I'm not really in a position to take out a player that is starting in Luis Diaz. But will Kane or Mbappe or Gyökeres score more points than him? Probably. So I could just take out the goalkeeper, keep the goalkeeper and stay with one goalkeeper, and then take out 2 forward players and use the 4 transfers. But I know which player definitely has to be in my team. So I'm going to just bring in Harry. So let's see the team news first of all. I can just read for you guys the team news. Ken is starting. I know Lisa is starting. I know Mbappe is starting for Real Madrid. So let's go to the Bayern Munich team news first. And let's start with the team that is starting for them. So Neuer in goal, Upamecano, Kimmich, Gnabry, Kane, Luis Diaz, Olise, Lima, Stanisic, and Pavlovic. That is the Bayern Munich team. Real Madrid, there's Lonin in goal. So for those who had Courtois, you have to take him out. Trent, Rudiger, Hausen, Carreras, Valverde, Thiago Tchouameni, Gola, Mbappe, and Vinicius. That is the Real Madrid team. And then for Arsenal, there's Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, Madueke, Trossard, and Gyökeres up front. So 4 transfers to make. I mean, Sporting, I also need to check Sporting's team, by the way. They are missing their midfielder. So does that make someone like a Rice or Odegaard good option for this one? Very hard, very, very hard. So the players that I was really thinking of bringing in first are Harry Kane, and then Gyökeres, and then Mbappe, but I can't bring in 3 forward players. As you can see, I have 2 issues in my midfield. So I might just have to go for either PSG player or for an Arsenal midfielder. Trossard is starting for Arsenal, but is he really a good option? Or is he a gamble if I go for him for one match day? Is he too much of a gamble? Or should I just stick with Rice? Because I'm trying to also go with players who are definitely going to start both games. We don't have 5 transfers next time. And I've already missed 1 transfer this time around. I don't want to miss too many heading into the next round as well. I don't know why Sporting haven't released their team yet. Now they have. Wow, just 29 seconds ago. So Reece Silva is starting for Isneda, Diomande, Inacio, Araujo, Morita, Simios, Pedro Gonçalves is starting, Trincao, and also Luis Suarez. So I'm literally going to make those 4 transfers live here. Kane or Mbappe? Mbappe is currently owned by 60%. I trust Kane more, to be honest. Mbappe has scored a bunch of hat-tricks this season and braces for me, and he's been my captain for most of these weeks. Both teams concede goals. I mean, I watched Bayern Munich the other day against Freiburg. They were so close to losing the game. It's about being brave when you get to the quarterfinal, because by the time we get to the semi-final, a lot of people will have similar teams. If there's PSG in the semi-final, everyone will have Dembele, everyone will have Kvaratskhelia. If there's Madrid in the semi-final, everyone will have Vinicius, everyone will have Mbappe. So right now is the time where you need to be brave, Am I going to go for... I could decide to go for both Olise and Kane and just, bank on Bayern Munich to beat Madrid, or I can just go for Mbappe and together with Vinicius and captain one of them and, hope they destroy Bayern Munich, especially in the home game. I could just, ignore the Arsenal players for this week and then go for them next week instead in the home game. There's a lot of ways I could go. but I know I definitely want Kane in my team. So I'm going to bring in Harry Kane into my team. That is 10.8 million used. So I still have 3 transfers and 18.2 million to use. So up front, I had Hauge. I had a more expensive midfield with Rafinha, Vinicius, Yamal, Saka, and Kvaratskhelia. And then I had a cheaper forward line for the last round in Suarez and Hauge next to Luis Diaz. But now the big boys are back. Most of them were injured last time round. We thought Kane was injured, and then he ended up starting. So now what I did is bring in Harry Kane and then free up some money in midfield, which will allow me to probably go for someone like a Rice. Can I really afford Olise and Kane, both of them in the team? Tough. Let's just sort this out by midfield. The goalkeeper one is really making me think: should I go for a second goalkeeper as well, or just go for Rui Silva by himself? Midfield, there's a lot of options. I don't really trust Liverpool ahead of the PSG game, maybe the home game, but Vitinha is an option. Trincao is an option. Olise is definitely an option. Trossard is starting for Arsenal. So I don't have too many differentials in my team. In terms of my team, differentials are maybe Nuno Mendes and Hakimi are not differentials. Many people have them. Same with Van Dijk, same with Gabriel, same with Saliba. Vinicius, Yamal, definitely not differentials. How many people have Kvaratskhelia right now? 20%, so not really a differential. Luis Suarez, 5%, so that is a differential. Luis Diaz, 14%. I think anything less than 12% would consider a differential in the quarterfinal. So I don't really have too many differentials apart from the sporting players that I still have. So if I go for a Trossard, there's no problem if I go for a Trossard as long as nothing happens to any of the players this match day. Heading into this next match day, the second leg, not too many injuries and all that. And you never know what you're going to do. So you're going to make those transfers. Let me see what Ray is saying. I've done the transfers, and now I have full playing 15. What do I do with the remaining 2 free transfers? If you look at your team and your team is absolutely fine, you're just going to have to go with it. Usually I try to have rarely banned a transfer. We're in a very privileged position, by the way, Ray, because in my team I have now 4 transfers remaining, and I have exactly 4 issues, so I can't make a spare transfer unless I decide to go with one goalkeeper and then make a spare transfer up front. But that will not be possible because I have that goalkeeper issue, and also the money too. I would have to go for very cheap midfield if I go for Mbappe as well. So it depends on how the rest of your team is looking. If you're happy with the rest of the team, you're just going to have to go with it. But maybe improve one position that you feel like, okay, this one will do better than this one. So, for example, if you have Marquinhos instead of Nuno Mendes, maybe you can afford to make that luxury transfer to go to the more attacking one. That could be happy. I might just waste my 2 transfers because I have no changes to make. Fermin Lopez is a good shout. In the home game, yeah, tomorrow in the home game against Atletico, very good shout. So you have no. Yeah, that was that was just an example. So I'm still trying to figure out who I'm going to transfer into my team. Rafinha out, Saka out, midfield. So Desir Due, 8.1 million. Salah, no, thank you, not for this season, unfortunately. Barcelona, yeah, Fermin Lopez could be a good option. 67 points so far this season. There's a match that I really wanted Fermin Lopez, but I couldn't get him. I think I went for Rashford that week. That was it this Olympiacos game here? Yeah, he ended up scoring a bunch of goals that day. Yeah, it was that Olympiacos game. I think Rashford also scored in that game, so it didn't hurt that much, but Fermin Lopez got 20 points that match day. I remember very, very well. Simeone scored against Barcelona the other day. Tough. I don't have any Arsenal attacker right now, so I will either bring in Rice or Trossard and hope Rice takes those set pieces or something. My Madueke is also starting, but that is quite a differential. So again, I won't go for too many differentials. Maybe one. So if I go for Madueke or Trossard, that is a major differential. But I'm not a big fan of Madueke in UCL fantasy. I need someone who's going to, definitely get an attacking return, and I feel like someone like Rice would have more chances because of the set pieces as well. Let me just write down my team for you. Thank you, Ray. -4 Timber to Saliba says foot. Now, Timber is obviously not playing. Depends on how the rest of your team is looking. Depends on how the rest of the team is looking. If you have 14 players, to be honest, I'd be tempted to keep the 14 players because I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm not expecting a clean sheet today because Sporting are on an absolutely crazy form at home. So if you bring in Saliba for Timber for -4, you're hoping that Saliba either scores or if he gets if Saliba ends up getting 4 points from ball recoveries and starting the game even without scoring or keeping a clean sheet, then you've gotten your 4 points back. But the worry is if you bring in Saliba and remove Tim, and then Arsenal concede a couple of goals and then Saliba picks up a yellow card, you're losing out on points. So personally, if I had Timber and I've made all my 5 transfers, I wouldn't bring in Saliba. I'll just keep it the same and then sort out that issue next week if Timber is still not yet available. I don't like -4, especially for the quarterfinal, unless it's a guaranteed clean sheet. Kane, Alvarez, Dembele, Vinicius, Valverde, Yamal, Firmino, Szoboszlai. A lot of trust in the Bayern and Barcelona and Real Madrid players. Gabriel, VVD, Nuno, Hakimi, and Ryan and Garcia. So you said you're happy with your team. Let's see. Ryan, Garcia, yep. Raya today, Garcia tomorrow. Nuno, Hakimi, definitely fine. VVD and Gabriel, definitely fine. Now, I say definitely. My prediction is PSG to score 3 goals tomorrow. So this is what I meant, Trey. Your team is okay. You feel like your team is okay. So if you're going to make transfers here, it's going to be luxury transfers. Personally, if I had this team, if this was my team, I'd be looking to upgrade someone like a Van Dijk for this week because I don't expect a clean sheet. Now, he might get like 9 ball recoveries. That could be 3 points already. And then Stati, that is already 2 points. That is 5. But if my prediction is right and they do concede 2 or 3 goals, then that will be back to -4. So let's see. I also don't expect Madrid or Bayern Munich, any of them, to keep a clean sheet. I don't expect Arsenal or Sporting to keep a clean sheet. PSG already have 2 defenders, and then Barcelona and Atletico, there's still no players like Koundé, so not really. So you could just keep it the same. This is what you could do, Ray. You could just keep the team the same, leave it like that. Or if you want to make a luxury transfer, you take out Van Dijk because he has the toughest fixture, and then you bring someone who has an easier fixture, although there is no easy fixture right now. But if you trust Van Dijk and you trust Liverpool away at PSG, then that's fine. Also, it could help if you expect PSG to go through, then you don't have that Liverpool headache next week. If by the time you get to the semi-final, you don't have that Liverpool headache. But if you feel like Liverpool are actually going to surprisingly win this tie, then having Van Dijk is no problem. But I do have Van Dijk, but I'm not in a luxury position to take out Van Dijk. If I was creating a team from today or having a wildcard today, I wouldn't have Van Dijk in the team because of that fixture. So it's like Upamecano as a defender. There's a time someone did something like that, taking a -4 for Upamecano. Best midfield differential says Foot. So I'm thinking of that myself because I need 2 new midfielders. Trossard is currently owned by 1%. The last time Arsenal went to Sporting, they scored 5 goals. I don't think that will be the case this time, though. Arsenal have not been scoring a lot of goals, and Sporting on very, very good form. But Trossard is a differential, is owned by 1%. I wouldn't go as far as picking Madueke, although it's a differential, also owned by 1%. I think for this week, quarterfinals, going forward, less than 10% is kind of counted as differential. So Rice would also be an option. But Trossard would be fast because he's only owned by 1%. And then Adegule is owned by 9%. That could be an option as well. So the best three options, I would say Trossard, Adegule, and I don't think Fermin Lopez is a differential. How many people have Fermin Lopez right now? 17%. Yeah, that's not a differential. Now, I do think Trincao is also not a bad option at home to Arsenal. He's been on very, very good form this season, 69 points in total this season. So any of those could work. If you're in a position to bring in one differential, you could bring in a Trossard, a Trincao, or Adegule, any of them, depending on which team you think is going to do the best. Like if your prediction is Real Madrid to beat Bayern 4-1, then go for Adegule, team him up with Vinicius and Mbappe if you have him as well. But if you think, Bayern Munich are going to go to Madrid and Madrid are only going to score like one goal, then you can go for, a defender, then an Olise, and then a Kane as well in the team. But yeah, by the time we get to the quarterfinal, second leg, semi-final, first leg, there's not going to be too many differentials. A lot of people will have the same players. So the quarterfinal stage is like almost like the last chance to close the gap or to extend the gap wherever you are in the rankings. Now I have two transfers left. Is Kane in the 11? Yes, he is. Nobody is expected to keep a clean sheet. Yeah, my prediction is Real Madrid. Madrid and Bayern. I said Bayern to beat you guys 3-2, Ray, but I think it's going to be a 2-2. For Arsenal, I feel like it's going to be a 1-1, but I'm hoping for a 2-1 for Arsenal. But ideally, again, no clean sheet there, as you've said. Tomorrow, PSG, I expect Liverpool to score, PSG to score 3-1 or 3-2 PSG. And then the other team is Barcelona Atletico. They're going to play each other so many times. I expect Barcelona to score at least 2. I've gone for Barcelona to win by 2-1. So yes, I'm not expecting any clean sheets. I'm looking at the Sporting team right now. Suarez is on a yellow card. So if he picks up one, he misses the semi-final first leg. I think after the second leg is when the yellow cards are removed, if I remember that correctly. Mbappe or Alvarez or Dembele? Mbappe or Alvarez or Dembele or Gyökeres? Which one from these 4? Oh, from those 4, I was also picking a striker today. I picked Kane. So if you don't have Kane on your list, my second option would be that is a tough one. Alvarez would not be an option for me. So I'd choose between Mbappe, Dembele, and Gyökeres. Again, it depends on how the rest of your team is looking. If you have Gola and Vinicius already, and you don't really have PSG attacking cover, then you have to go for Dembele. But if you already have Kvaratskhelia and Doué or Vitinha, then you can go for Mbappe. It depends on how the rest of your team is looking. Because I like to have it at least balanced out. A couple of Madrid players there, a couple of PSG players there, unless you really trust in one team. But just to cut the story short, Mbappe would be my first option from that list. Oh, you Red or Dead? Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. VVD for Calafiori, Rafinha to Vinicius, JP to Mbappe, and Gordon to Trossard or Trincao. So you've done Van Dijk to Calafiori, you've done Rafinha to Vinicius, you've done Pedro to Mbappe, and you're thinking of doing Gordon to either Trossard or Trincao. So I'm going to try and answer that question in an unbiased way. Trossard or Trincao has been better, for sure. Trossard might get subbed off for Martinelli at any point, but the way we are playing right now as Arsenal, our best option, I'm so happy to see Trossard back in the team. Although Martinelli has been doing good in the Champions League, I'm so happy to see Trossard in the team. Sporting in very, very good home form. Very good home form. There could be a calamity today for us, and Sporting could beat us 2-0 today. But from those two, to be honest, I'd go for Trincao. Personally, I'm not going to go for Trincao because I'm an Arsenal fan and my team is I need an Arsenal attacker. But looking at those two options, I'd say Trincao is the better option for this game. If it was at the Emirates, I'd say Trossard. I wouldn't be surprised though if by the end of the match day they're like on the same points, 5 or 6 points maybe for both of them at the end of this match day. I don't think it's going to be a big gap. I don't think one of them is going to score 10 and the other one 3 points or something. Or Fami Lopez, okay, I hadn't seen that one. So from those three options, I would prefer Fami Lopez. From those three options, I'd prefer Fami Lopez, especially if you don't have to. I'm assuming you have Yamal, of course. So yeah, if you also need Famin Lopez, that is also an option because he's playing at home. I also don't have an Arsenal attacker, and I'm thinking of bringing Rice or Trossard. I really wanted Gyökeres, but I do prefer Kane. To be honest, I rather have Kane in the team. If I had an extra attacking transfer, I would bring in Gyökeres because I feel like Sporting will give him a few more openings. As says Famin Okvar, you already have your Mal. Which PSG players do you have? Do you have any other PSG players? If you already have Vitinha and Dembele, then you can go for Famin. But if you don't have too many PSG options, Kvara would be for sure my option there. I kind of need a player from today. Okay, if you need a player from today and not tomorrow, Trincao 55%, Trossard 45% red or dead, if that helps. If that helps. Again, it depends. How are you looking at this game? Do you think Arsenal are going to do well in this game? When you start getting to the quarterfinal stage, it starts to really depend on which team you expect to win. Because I could just decide right now to say, okay, Bayern Munich are going to beat Real Madrid 4-0. Let me go for Lise right now and go for Nabri as well. And then, just ignore the Arsenal players and just trust the Bayern Munich players. But I try to balance it out. So Trincao, because he's at home, I feel could be a good option, a better option. But Trossard as well. I feel like they're going to score almost the same price. I don't think there's going to be a big difference, but I'd edge Trincao 55%. But I'm not going to bring Trincao into my team because I already have Luis Suarez there. Hakimi Mendes. So you have Hakimi Mendes from PSG. Okay, so no PSG attacker. So yeah, I would definitely go for Kvaratskhelia if you already have Yamal. So Kane, Diaz, and Mbappe up front for Foot, and then Yamal, Vini, Vitinha, changeable, Kvara changeable. Who should be my next midfielder? You have 8.3 million to spend. So you have Yamal, Vinicius, Vitinha, and Kvara, and then up front you have Kane, Diaz, and Mbappe. So you're covered. You have Madrid covered. That is fine. You also have two attacking players from Bayern Munich in Kane and Diaz. I think that is good enough. Same with mine. I have Kane and Diaz. Olise is a very good option. Olise, I think if Olise picks up 4 more assists this season, he breaks the all-time record that was set by Messi and De Bruyne, 31 assists in a season. So Olise is on fire. That is for sure. But 3 attackers away at Madrid, I wouldn't go for that. So I think you're covered. You're well covered in Bayern Munich and the Madrid players. Barcelona, Yamal, Fermin Lopez is an option. So in your team, Foot, I would consider Fermin Lopez. If you're looking for someone below 8.3, I'd be looking at Fermin Lopez. I'd be looking at Declan Rice because you don't have any Arsenal attacker there. So Fermin Lopez, Declan Rice, any of them really. The two of them, and even Trincao. As we've already seen, we're having debates on Trincao. You could also consider Trincao. All of them you can afford that money. So I think you're good in Bayern Munich, and you're also good with Madrid. You have a couple of attackers from both teams, and you also have 2 PSG players. So yeah, those are the players I'd be looking at. Madueke, good to keep or sell. If you have him and you're okay with if you don't have anything to do in the team, is definitely not going to. Now there's no Saka, there's Dalma. How many minutes will Madueke play? I'm thinking maybe 60. I'm thinking 60 to 65 minutes. So Madueke is like Odegaard. You see, Odegaard doesn't score goals. But when he plays well, he gets the pre-assist, and we don't really care about the pre-assist when it comes to fantasy football. We want someone to assist or score. I want someone explosive. You know that Yamal is definitely going to score or assist. You know that Kvara, if PSG score a couple of goals, Kvara will definitely be returning there. Vinicius, if he could be on penalties, if Mbappe goes off, Vinicius will definitely be the one to assist Mbappe or something like that. The problem with Madueke, can't really say he's definitely going to score or assist. Now, he's on corners from that other side now that Saka is not there. So if he takes good corners, he could get an assist from there. If you don't have any other problems in your team, or if your team is looking good and you only need one differential and Madueke is the differential you're going for and you already have him, then I would keep. But would I bring him into the team? No, I'd probably go for Trossard or Rice if I didn't have Madueke already. I like Trossard. I think that I prefer him to Trincao. He's in great form already. I have Raya, Calafiori, and Gabriel. Wow, Red Red is really trusting us. So yeah, you can go for Trossard, as I said, 55%, 45%, not a big margin. So you can go for Trossard. He's not going to be on set pieces, that is Rice. So you're hoping that Trossard and Gyökeres can attack a lot, and Trossard can deliver for Gyökeres. So yeah, you can go for Trossard, no problem. Yeah, there's no big difference, I think, between those two. How are you, my friend? He says, I want Firmino, but I'm concerned about his minutes. He might be subbed early because of his yellow card. How many minutes is early? How many minutes do you consider early? Because which other the question is which other midfielders are you considering? Because if it's like between Firmino, Lopez, and Trossard could also be subbed off in the 60th minute or something. So I think 60 to 65 minutes is good. You ideally want someone who's going to play 75 plus. It depends. Obviously, if Barcelona score a couple of goals, then they could afford to take him out. It depends on who else you're looking for. I wouldn't really consider that too much. The yellow card too much. I'd expect him to remain disciplined. How many yellow cards that Firmino have this season in Champions League? 2 yellow cards. I wouldn't really be. I know it could be subbed off because of the yellow card. But I don't think. I mean, they're playing Atletico, so anything can happen, and players can get yellow cards and all that. But nah, I think I'd be okay even if he plays 65 minutes. What are your transfers for midfield? I'm just about to make them right now. I'm also trying to think of them right now. Firmino or Vitinha, Kvara or Olise? Oh, so if you're trying to decide between those ones, again, Kvara actually definitely needs to be in your team. I think they're playing. Liverpool are not confident at all, and PSG players like Kvara are very confident. So Kvara would be my first option. If you already have Kane and those players, then I don't think Olise is a must. Although I think Olise is a very good luxury transfer, because I think Olise will definitely get an assist or a goal today. Like, I'm almost 100% sure. Like, the way he plays, he's definitely going to get something from that one. So the first option there would be Kvara for me, from that list. Valverde or Vitinha? Vitinha. You're welcome. So let me look at my transfers now, as Foot has reminded me before I forget. So I've already brought in Kane up front. So again, for those who didn't see the team selection video, I made a mistake. I made an early transfer and I got punished. That's why I don't like making early transfers. But because Gabriel is playing, I'm a bit lucky, because I would have had 5 injuries in my team plus 5 eliminations, or 5 injuries plus eliminations, and I would have had to keep a player who's not going to play. But because Gabriel is back, I have 4 transfers remaining, but unfortunately one of those transfers is Rafinha, the player I brought in. He got injured. So I brought in Rafinha for Gordon, and now I'm taking out Rafinha, and I'm taking out Saka, and I'm taking out Hauger for Kane, and then I was also deciding whether to take out the goalkeeper or just stay with one goalkeeper and make a change in outfield. So which midfielders do I want? I've looked at Rice, I've looked at Trincao, I've looked at Trossard, I've also looked at Olise. I've considered the Serie Duef. I've been told to also consider Firmino Lopez. Mioni scored against Barcelona. So let me bring in an Arsenal player first because I know I'm going to need one of them. So it's either Rice or Trossard. Who to go for? I'm going to go for this. Is a coin flip. You're literally seeing me doing this as a coin flip because I I don't know who to bring in between Rice and Trossard. Rice is going to play 90 minutes. That one I know. If the injury is not really affecting me, I'm sure he's going to play 90 minutes. Trossard is not going to play 90. Trossard Rice. Okay, I'm going to go for Rice. I trust Rice more. He's on set pieces, free kicks, corners. I just trust Rice more. Hopefully that decision doesn't bite me. The last time I made this decision with Ray when we were looking at PSG and Bayern, I made the right one. I didn't go for Due. I went for Olise, and Olise scored all of those points against Atalanta away. So this time I've gone for Rice ahead of Trossard. So I think for Arsenal, that is enough. I'm not going to go for both Trossard and Rice. No. If it is the home game next week, maybe, but for now, I'm going to do that. So Rice for Rafinha. So let's move from Arsenal. Now let's look at Barcelona. And the reason I'm not going to bring in Olise is because they already have Diaz and Kane. I think that's enough, unless this game ends 4-4 and all of them get a bunch of points. Let's go for PSG and Barcelona. Those are the two teams I'm considering in terms of midfielders. So it's either going to be Vitinha or Fermin Lopez in that midfield. Vitinha, Fermin Lopez. And StreamEd is saying that YouTube have an issue right now. Hopefully you can still see the stream. You're welcome. That's so fun. For defenders, I have Mendes, Hakimi, Virgil, Gabriel. Who's the fourth best? Best one I have Raya or Oblak, the fifth best one. Okay, so you already have Gabriel and Raya. I do think that's enough. I do think Sporting away is not an easy fixture. As an Arsenal fan, I'm scared of this one. I'm starting to think, oh my, what if you lose 3 games in a row? So I think having Gabriel, if you had Saliba instead of Gabriel, then you could consider bringing in Gabriel because he's an attacking threat as well, and he scored the last time Arsenal played at Sporting. But with Gabriel and Raya, I think that is okay with the Arsenal team. Oblak, and then you have Hakimi and Mendes and Virgil. So who's the fifth best defender there? You already have PSG and Arsenal covered, and Van Dijk. Who would I go for from that list? I'd probably consider. Oh man, I don't like the Madrid and Bayern Munich fixture for defenders. This week is so tough to pick defenders as very hard because I don't think too many people will keep clean sheets. So if you really push me, I'd go for Barcelona defender. But who would I go for from Barcelona? You see, in my team, I have 2 Arsenal defenders, but I don't have Raya. I feel like going for Raya, Gabriel, and Saliba is a little bit too much. I'd consider Barcelona defender. I'd consider Barcelona defender. Is Cancelo definitely going to start? Let me check for you if there's any Barcelona team news ahead of tomorrow. Let's see. I haven't had any headaches with defenders because, as you can see, I had Hakimi, Mendes, Gabriel. I mean, I had a little bit of a headache with Gabriel because I don't know if he was definitely going to play. I think 3 Arsenal defenders is a little bit too much. How many do you have playing tomorrow? You have Mendes and Hakimi and Van Dijk playing tomorrow. I'd be considering a Barcelona defender. Unless you really, really trust Arsenal then you could go for an Arsenal defender. But yeah, if Cancelo is definitely going to start, he's the one that I would go for. Let me check last minute news if there's any news on Barcelona. Barcelona. If there's anyone who's saying anything on Twitter. And Barcelona and Atletico are playing each other so many times. Because I feel like if there's a team that might keep a clean sheet, it's Barcelona at home to Atletico. Although that is nowhere near guaranteed neither, because I just don't trust it. So no news really. Yamal, Firmino, Rashford, Lewandowski expected to start. Pedri. So yeah, I would consider Barcelona defender Cancelo. Cancelo would be the one. As if you don't want Cancelo, if he's too expensive or something, Kubasi would be the second option. So my next midfielder. This is so hard trying to figure out. So let me just make these two transfers first before I forget, and then I come back to the other two positions I've confirmed. And let me change my captain from Gabriel to as Harry Kane, or should not be on the bench. He should definitely be in the starting lineup. Harry Kane. There you go. And should I captain Kane away at Madrid? Ray, I think I'm going to captain Kane away to your team. He's on penalties and all that. No, I think going for Rice as captain is a little bit too much for this week. I'm going to go for Kane today because they don't have Mbappe in the team. So now I can go back to the transfer tab and make my other two transfers. At least those two are done in captaincy set. So let me go back to transfer tab. So Saka out. So yeah, I'm just going to bring in a second goalkeeper because they don't have a second goalkeeper. Shakiro's eliminated. So I either go for a PSG goalkeeper or I'm not going to go for a Liverpool goalkeeper already. Alisson is not there anyway, and I already have Van Dijk. Those goalkeepers tomorrow, I might have to go for Garcia as well, you know? Yeah, I'm just going to go for Garcia so I can also have defensive cover. So one Garcia is in my team. Yeah, that's the next transfer I've made. So let me just confirm that as well. Confirmed. So those are 3 transfers made now in this stream. One more remaining who's going to come in for Saka. So that's what we're deciding for the last transfer. Let's see. I'm Barcelona fan, but a clean sheet is tough. Yeah, I don't expect anyone to, for my predictions, don't expect anyone to keep a clean sheet. But if someone is going to keep a clean sheet, it's probably going to be Barcelona at home to Atletico. Because for Madrid, I don't think Real Madrid are going to keep a clean sheet against Bayern, and I don't think Bayern are going to keep a clean sheet against Real Madrid. Now, the way as Arsenal we approach those games, could it be a 0-0 or 1-0? It might be, but I think Sporting, they know what they're doing and they could easily score in that game as well. Yeah, so Barcelona is really the only one. So for the defenders that most of us have, the attacking options really. So Nuno Mendes and Hakimi, those are really attacking options. Even if unless Liverpool keep on with their poor form and they don't score against PSG, that would be great for my team. If Liverpool didn't score, that would be great for my team. Then I'd get 2 clean sheets for Hakimi and Mendes, and most of you would get the same. Gabriel is also there for attacking threats and ball recoveries and all that. Van Dijk last time against the home game that he played last time, he did very, very well, and I didn't have him in my he had him on my bench when he got those 9 points against Galatasaray. So he had 9 ball recoveries, and Gabriel, the last match day that he played was against Leverkusen. He got 8.6 ball recoveries and a clean sheet too. So the attacking threats, though, let me see. How many attacking points does Van Dijk have this season? 2 goals, 2 assists. That is really good for a defender, centre-back. And then Gabriel didn't play a lot of games this season. 1 goal and 1 assist, but he missed Bayern Munich, he missed Club Brugge, he missed Kairat. So Gabriel missed 3 Champions League games this season. Who should I go for my last midfielder? It's going to either be Vitinha or Fermin Lopez. I only have 2 Barcelona players now after bringing in Garcia. Vitinha. I didn't go for Vitinha last time, and he hurt me. when he scored that lob against Chelsea in the first leg, picked up 9 points. But also the last time I had Vitinha missed a penalty too, so that's not great. I'm hoping for a goal or assist. Okay, from Cancelo. Yeah, that makes sense. And Cancelo is there's a time when Cancelo was at Man City, he was a very good UCL fantasy option. I still remember before he fell out with Guardiola. That season itself, he was really good. Is it worth taking a hit to go from Vats to another midfielder? Famin, Vitinho, Due, need a player for tomorrow, 9 million in the bank. A hit? No, I wouldn't do a hit. If you're going to consider a hit for Vats to someone else, then what you're hoping for there is like Famin, Lopez, Vitinho, Due, basically get double digits, like 10 points to, make your decision correct. So I wouldn't take a minus. I wouldn't take a -4, no. No, not at all. That would only be okay if Famin Lopez scored like 10 points, or Vitinho scored like 10 points, or Due scored like 10 points, and Vats scored like 2. But if you take a hit and then Vats gets 5 points and Vitinho gets 6, then it's a wasted hit. Mbappe or Vinicius, if I was to make a team from now, I would pick Mbappe because he's on penalties as well. But I'm not in a position to pick Mbappe because I already had Vinicius and I had other issues up front and I needed Kane in the team. If Mbappe will go for if it's Mbappe, you'll go for Rice. If it's Vinicius, you'll go for Dembele up front. Again, it all depends on how the rest of your team Luke says it all depends on the rest of your team. So I've said Mbappe, you'll go for Rice. If I say Vinicius, you'll go for Dembele up front. I'm guessing it's because of the money. I mean, if I was just to look at those two options, I would prefer Dembele and Vinicius together ahead of Mbappe and Rice. If it's just this question, Mbappe or Vinicius, I'd go for Mbappe. But because you've added to the question by saying Mbappe and Rice and Dembele and Vinicius, I'd probably go for the Dembele and Vinicius one. You have Kvara. I don't think Due will play. I have him, and I'm gonna sell him. Gonna sell. I think he will play. I saw Bakol is definitely not going to play tomorrow. Do we have any news on the Desire Due? I mean, last season, the Desire Due did very well against Liverpool last season. Oh, you're going to sell Due? Interesting. Personally, if you didn't have any other issues, I'd keep him. Let me see if there's PSG team news. It's always so hard picking a team, especially when you have like a limitless. So it's usually so hard when there's a lot of players to choose from. It's not easy. So Bakola is definitely not going to play. So Dembele is definitely going to play. It's going to be Dembele, Kvara, and Due according to the predictions, and that is what I expect it to be as well. Vitinho, Emre, Neves. Yeah. Interesting that you're going to sell him. Who are you bringing in? In that case, I'll keep him. That's good news. Yeah, Due will definitely start because Bakol is also not there. So that helps. Barcelona. Barcelona score a bunch of goals against Atletico. If yes, then I'd go for Famin Lopez. I have 3 PSG players. Is that enough? Vitinha. Or should I actually go with what I've told Ed? Should I just go for Due? Very, very tough. So you have I have Du as an option, Vitinha as an option. I also have Fermin Lopez as an option. One Barcelona attacker. Last time I went for one Barcelona attacker, it was not enough. It was not enough, especially not having Rafinha last time. It was not enough at all. So because of that, and just one Barcelona attacker, I want to balance it out. I want to have two Bayern, one PSG there. Vitinha, Fermin Lopez, do it. Literally, there's 4 options I want to go for. I really hope I make the right decision. So let me just sort this out by Barcelona and PSG, because it's either going for Vitinha, Fermin Lopez, or Due. 3 of them. Who would you guys pick between those 3? Tough. Less than 20 minutes to the deadline, guys. Less than 20 minutes to the deadline. Should I just respect Liverpool and say, okay, PSG not going to score a bunch of goals? Let me go for Fermin Lopez. Fermin Lopez. Yeah, I think that is what I'm going to do. I've made my decision. I'm going to go for Fermin Lopez. Yeah, I feel like Atletico at home, it's not easy. I feel like Barcelona have a better chance of scoring a couple more goals. That is a tough decision. This is just a 50-50, just the toss of the coin, and I've gone for Fermin Lopez, and that is done. Those are my transfers for the week, and my team is ready. So let's see. Juan Garcia, Mendes, Kvarat, Van Dijk tomorrow. Today I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players today, 7 players tomorrow. I think that's a good balance. I think that is a good balance for sure. So hopefully, most of the players score well. Hopefully, I get a surprise and Arsenal keep a clean sheet. And Bayern Munich and Madrid is a high-scoring game. I don't have Mbappe, so I'm hoping that Mbappe doesn't score, which is the chance of that happening is quite low. So Luis Suarez, I'm going to keep him in the team as well. If I was having a wild card, I wouldn't have Luis Suarez. I'd have Mbappe up front, but it is what it is. So that is my team. It's ready, and I'm going to captain Harry Kane. Yeah, I will sell him for Kvarat, I thought. If it's between the two and you have enough transfers, I prefer Kvarat. If it's between the two, I prefer Kvarat. Between the two, I'd prefer Kvarat. It's a bit of a sideways move, but I'd still prefer Kvarat. But taking out Duek for Kvarat, the sideways moves usually scare me. Because if you take out Due for Kvarat, and then if they score the same points, doesn't really matter unless you took a hit. But if you take out Due and then he scores a brace and stuff, I still trust Kvarat more though. Mbappe or Vinicius captain, thanks for your advice. No hits. Thank you, Red or Dead. Captain between the two, I'd go for Mbappe because he's on penalties as well. So my team is ready. No more transfers. Happy with that. I'm happy with that. So in terms of team breakdown, I have 2 Sporting players. I have 3 Arsenal players, so that is well balanced. I have 1 Real Madrid player. I would have wanted a second one, but I couldn't really bring in Mbappe because I had midfield issues. And then I have 2 Bayern Munich players. So again, in terms of that game, it's well balanced. 1 player from one team, 2 players from the other team. For the Sporting Arsenal, 2 from one team, 3 from the other. Barcelona Atletico tomorrow, I don't have any Atletico players in my team. I have 3 Barcelona players. And then for the PSG Liverpool, I don't have any Liverpool players. I have 3 PSG players. So most of my players are let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, I don't have too many players. I think the most I have is 3. I have Liverpool players. What am I talking about? I have Van Dijk. So Atletico is the only team that I don't have in my the only side I don't have covered in my team. So I think it's a good balance. 3 from most of the teams, 3 from Barcelona, 3 from PSG, 3 from Arsenal, 2 from Sporting, then 1 from Real Madrid, 1 from Liverpool as well. I think that is a good balance. I think that's a good balance. My keeper for tomorrow is Garcia. Lame and Upamecano are both on yellow cards if they pick up a yellow card. I've seen Real Madrid have a lot of yellow cards. So yeah, I think my team is ready. I won't be making any more switches. Just screenshot that team. So ideally, I want a high-scoring game between Madrid and Bayern Munich. For those who have Olise, I feel like Olise will also do well. So you're still in a good position in terms of that. So going to end it in the next 3 minutes because I need to go prepare for the Arsenal game. Hopefully Arsenal can get a good result today. I also did put a poll, so let me see what you guys voted for in the poll. So I asked you guys which players you're captaining. 45% have said they're captaining a Real Madrid player. 32% have said a Bayern Munich player, 23% an Arsenal player, 0% a Sporting player. Interesting. So no one is captaining Trincao or Suarez or someone. So that is fair enough. So I'm captaining Kane. I'm part of the 35%. Raya, Calafiori, Gabriel. You'd love an Arsenal clean sheet rather than if Arsenal won that like 1-0, you'd be in a very good position. With a Trossard goal, you'd be in a very good position. Hausen, Kvara, Yamal, Vini, Trossard, Kane, Diaz, and Mbappe, and then tomorrow Hakimi, Cancelo, Vats. Is that everyone? Like, what do you think? Yeah. So defensively, you have it well covered with the Arsenal team. Also heading into next week, I expect Yamal to start, Vinicius to start. I mean, next week is next week. We'll see whether there's suspensions or injuries or anything. For this week, your team is good. Mbappe, Diaz, and Kane. That is absolutely fine. Midfield as well is absolutely fine. Heading into next week, maybe there might be a couple of headaches. Maybe if Calafiori isn't fit or is not starting the second game and Nkapie is back, you never know. And then Trossard also might be a problem next week, but we'll deal with that next week. I think for now, I think the team is okay. You have Yamal, the players that are usually most owned, Yamal, Kane, Mbappe, you have them, and you have Vinicius as well. I think that is absolutely fine. You have Hakimi, you don't have Nuno Mendes, but you might be able to survive without Nuno Mendes. But I love him as an attacking option. But your team is okay. Obviously, if I had a wild card, I probably wouldn't have Vats in the team, but obviously you had him, so you just keep him. You don't take a -4 to take him out. You just keep him. So your team is good. I ended up keeping Duasays as. Again, I don't think there's going to be a big difference in terms of the points between the two. They could easily both score or both assist in that game. So the sideways move scares me. So probably a better option to just keep do. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Trossard says right or dead. Let's hope so. I would love that. I would love that. So I appreciate you guys watching. As always, need to go and prepare for the Arsenal game. Again, as always, this time though, we're not waiting too much for the second leg. We had to wait for 3 weeks before this Champions League round. But next round, not too far away. So let's see how it goes. As always, if you have any questions in terms of subs and all that, you can comment on this video. We'll answer before tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.